Hello and welcome to A Cat in the Garden. And it is a rainy Sunday here in Central Texas, so it's a little dark. Can't really do anything about that, so my apologies. But today we want to talk to you about Hoyas, and specifically Hoyas that I don't think are worth the hype, that I will not be buying probably ever again, hopefully never again. So I'm gonna put nutmeg aside and we're just gonna bring out some of the Hoyas. The first one is going to be this one here. It looks like a total mess, a complete disaster. And that is the Hoya croniana black leaves. And I don't know, this plant really hates me. I mean, croniana are pretty finicky to begin with, but I bought 3 plants from 2 different sellers and put them all in this cup eventually, and they all hated me. The leaves didn't grow properly, they weren't the right shape, they weren't the right size, they looked like maybe they had some edema. They have different colors, like this one just came in pure white and has stayed that way, so I don't know. I don't know why, but I also have had friends that have had terrible experiences with croniana black leaves, and honestly, most croniana are kind of finicky. I know the silvery one really doesn't like to be shipped, so sometimes it'll drop leaves or melt when being shipped. These just, I don't know, they just don't like me. So I'm not gonna waste my money on these. Lots of other Lacanosa types are a lot easier to deal with. They're a lot prettier, they're a lot more fun. So I'm going to divert future energy away from croniana and onto other different Lacanosa types. So croniana black leaves, never again. The next plant that I will never be buying again, Hoya, if I forgot to mention that, is the Hoya eritreena. And this plant, I felt like I had to buy it because it looked cool when I bought it online at an auction. And I had never seen it before, so I was like, you know what, we're just gonna take a chance. And honestly, it was kind of an expensive plant to be like, we'll see if I like it when I see it in person, because I don't like it. I don't think it's cute. It's not the right type of veiny for me. And I mean, the texture is nice, the wavy leaves are nice, but just the look of it. And it has been sun stressing for me. It's turning purple a bit because I have it really close to a grow light, but it just, I don't know, it's so ugly. I just don't like it. I think I'm gonna give it to a friend who I know likes this plant, but I just don't. And you know what? That's okay sometimes. If you get a plant and you're like, wow, I really don't like this as much as I thought I did, because when you see pictures on Instagram or you're even looking at people on YouTube, the plants look really good most of the time, or if it's a picture, there's editing involved. People are changing the saturation, so they're making the plant look more sun stressed or brighter colors than it really is. I know it's really nice to have this aesthetic Instagram feed. I do that, but I really try not to edit the colors of the plant too much, because you can kind of mislead people into thinking this plant is gonna look one way and then it doesn't. So I think I fell for that trap with the eritreena. I really liked this crimson sun-stressed look that it had. I liked the fact that it was veiny. But then I got it in person and I was like, this doesn't look like what I thought it did. And it's just muted to me. And it doesn't have like nice dark veins or nice like really white veins. It's just bleh. It's just very bleh for a plant. So I'm never gonna buy this plant again. I'm either going to give it away to a friend or I'm gonna sell it for what I paid for it. It has grown this like little stick, little nubbin stick since I got it. That's about it. So I don't know. It's just not for me. And I find that when I don't like a plant in my collection, I don't care for it the same way. I don't give it the right attention. So instead of just letting this plant suffer, I'm going to just give it away. So that is Hoya eritreena. This next plant is a little bit of a generalization, I will say, because it's not necessarily this plant specifically, but it kind of is. Like, this one falls into that category, and let me explain. So this is going to be basically thin-leafed Hoyas. This is the only thin-leaf Hoya that I own, and I don't want to own any more. And I actually just sold this one. I am shipping it out tomorrow to a very nice lady in Flint, Michigan. So hopefully it will arrive safely. But this one actually looks really good considering the fact that I fell out of love with it. It was another one that I bought as a cutting. I bought it as a single cutting almost a year ago. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of that plant before. And it looks kind of uncommon, so we'll just see. It looked cute in the pictures. In the pictures, the veins were more pronounced than I think they are on my plant. But that's okay, you know. This plant isn't around much. I don't see it around often, and yeah. So it is what it is. This one is a kagiensis mindorensis cross. So I have a mindorensis and it does not have thin leaves. So it must be the other plant that makes it have thin leaves. And I just find that they're very thirsty, and I really like a thick leafed Hoya. I've just decided that's my preference. That's what I like. And this one just doesn't do it for me. So I have been trying to take very good care of this one for the past year, and that's why I did sell it. So it can go to someone who's going to appreciate it more than I would. And so it's gonna leave tomorrow, and it's gonna have a good journey, hopefully, and go to someone who's going to appreciate it. Because sometimes if it's a plant that looks really terrible and I don't like it, and it's just got like maybe one leaf at a time, I'll just throw it away, because that's not worth it to me. Most of my plants really aren't that expensive, so it's not like I'm throwing away something that costs way too much money. But if it is something that is doing all right, I'll really try to care for it and give it away or sell it so that somebody else can enjoy it, because I know there's a lot of people out there that really do enjoy thin-leafed Hoyas, and this one is a bit more uncommon, so just gonna let someone else enjoy it and it'll live its best life. This next plant is also a bit of a generalization, but this is one of the only examples I have to show you. And it's kind of long and scraggly, but this is basically inner variegation on Hoyas. This Hoya I don't really mind in particular. I kind of like it because the leaves are cute and small, though I do like the outer variegation one better. But this is the huskiliana inner variegated. This one is the pink flower, and this one, like I said, this one's fine. I don't mind it, but most inner variegated Hoyas I just don't. I mean, plants in general. I don't really like the inner variegation look. Like the macrophylla pot of gold, I do not like that plant whatsoever. The Hoya Crimson Princess that I actually do own, it lives outside. It was my experiment plant because I don't like it. So it's just a personal preference for me. It really has nothing to do with the plant. It's just a cosmetic look thing for me, and I just prefer outer variegation or like marble or sectorial variegation on plants. This just doesn't really do it for me. So this one I'm gonna keep because I really actually do kind of like it, and it was a gift, but I kind of just wanted to use it as an example for you guys so that you would kind of understand what I'm talking about. So I'm not calling out this plant specifically. This plant's okay, but just basically plants like it, if that makes sense to you. It has some new growth in the middle there, so that's nice and pretty long. But yeah, inner variegated plants, not my thing. Okay, while I have nutmeg here too, I want to kind of talk smack on one other plant that I don't own, but I will never be buying this plant, and that is the Hoya compacta. I think it is the ugliest Hoya that has ever existed, and you can come at me for that. I know lots of people love that Hoya, but I just think it's so ugly. And I see so many people having issues with it because it is very prone to getting mealybugs. I mean, most Hoya are, but this one is, it's very hard to get rid of them once you get them on a compacta because the leaves are all curled under in themselves, and there's so many tiny nooks and crannies in this Hoya that it's just the perfect place for mealybugs to thrive. And I just don't want to deal with that kind of stress in my life. I don't want a plant that's just gonna constantly be ridden with pests, and I also think is extremely ugly. So That one I don't own, but it is a very common Hoya, so I would assume that most of you would know what it looks like. But yeah, I will never own that plant. Nobody give me that plant because I will get rid of it immediately. Probably in my compost pile. But that is going to be it for this video of Hoyas that I will never be buying or never be buying again, that I just don't think are worth the hype. And these are all my personal opinions, my preferences. You can totally disagree with me, and that's okay. That's the great thing about plants, is that there's so many different kinds of plants out there that there's a plant for everybody, and you don't have to like all of them. Otherwise, I would want to own all of them, and that's just impossible. So thank you so much for watching this video today. If you liked it, you can give us a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss anything else from me and Nutmeg. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.